A brush fire burning for almost 2 weeks continues to cause smoke problems across South Georgia and northern Florida.
It's dry and hot in the desert Southwest too, and the same result. But this isn't smoke, it's dust. We'll take a look at the heat permeating much of the country next. Hey, this is Weekend Weather Center. I'm Dave Schwartz.
And I'm Mike Seidel. As we rock and roll through another hour, I'm in for Kristen Dodd. And for a lot of you today, it is one of those days that we want to put on the shelf and recall in July and August when it's warm and humid and steamy and hot. Today, though, it's hot in some areas, but it is not humid. And that heat is on the way to the East Coast by Tuesday and Wednesday, parts of the East Coast.
Tell me about it, Mahomes.
Record high today in Vegas. We're forecasting 97. That would be a record. Denver, we're also forecasting a record high today, up there in the mid-80s. Now by tomorrow, look at this, near 90 in St. Louis, which would almost be a record. We're forecasting 88. And then by Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be watching the I-95 corridor, those normally hot spots, Columbia, Raleigh, Florence, South Carolina, low to mid-90s. Again, without the atrocious humidity we have in the summertime, but still it's going to be hot if you're not shaded.
And of course, the warm, dry weather is posing some big problems for fire crews and people living in South Georgia and North Florida. Tomorrow will mark 2 weeks for fire crews battling this brush fire near Waycross. The fire started April 16th. More than 65,000 acres have burned. It's very dry in the region. Humidity low, about 20% this afternoon. And there is not any rain in our future.
And the smoke is, we just checked, Jacksonville, Orlando now, visibility at the top of the hour at 4 Eastern, 2 miles in smoke.
A problem for people with respiratory issues, that's for sure. We're down in the rainfall bucket. That's part of the reason. Everything's dry. You know, it goes up and it spreads quickly. Tough to get a hold on it. We're 5.5 inches below average here in Florida, but take a look at these deficiencies for the year. Atlanta, we've had about half the annual rainfall of average. We're 9 inches below average. Huntsville almost a foot below average in the rainfall department. And the forecast calls for more dry weather. Today in the 80s to near 90 in South Florida. Then everybody will be approaching the 90-degree mark by Tuesday. And as the temperature goes up, without any change in the moisture, the relative humidity goes down. So it's already low. It's going to stay low through midweek. Here in Jacksonville, our forecast is not only for clouds, but for smoke. And any change in the wind makes all the difference in the world. Right now, that smoke's blowing right into Jacksonville. As Mike said, the visibility, not much more than 1 mile. So it's a sunny, warm day, but it's a nasty day by the same token. You can smell the burning wood in the air. It's not really very pleasant. And when you take a look at this satellite image from today, it's the smoke. That's it. I mean, it's too bad for these folks here. Southeast Georgia, 2 fires burning, the smoke blowing in right over Florida's first coast. What are you going to do? We just have to play, you know, the hand that we're dealt. 80 in Atlanta, no smoke for you guys with that wind blowing this way. Orlando, you got smoke at 86. Tampa, no smoke, 87. And we're at 85 in New Orleans, 83 in Tulsa. The warm air has come to the south. Trees are leafed out. It's gorgeous. And there's our rain in Texas and Oklahoma. We've had so much rain here that our drought has really been alleviated. More thunderstorms moving into Dallas and Houston tomorrow, hanging around for a couple of days. Mike, what's our next stop?
We go out to the Valley of the Sun, and we show you dust. A dust storm yesterday on the heels of that triple-digit heat. Look at the wind whipping the flag. Wind gusts to 50 miles an hour, picking up that dry soil and lowering visibilities to near 0 in some areas. Yesterday in Phoenix, their first triple-digit day, not a record, but we had records across the Southwest. Death Valley, 110. How about Needles, out around the Colorado River? And Vegas tying, up at 97. Sacramento ties a record at 90. And we will do it again probably in Vegas this afternoon. Probably not as warm in Phoenix when it was 101. But that was the first century mark, not quite a record, off by 3. Temperatures now approaching 80 in the Front Range, already 90 in Vegas, a little cooler near the coast in LA with that marine effect. Here are the forecasts next couple of afternoons, generally 95 to 100 as you get up through the Inland Empire and out towards Palm Springs and Borrego Springs, and pushing 110 again today in Death Valley, California. Big ridge causing the heat to build in the desert Southwest. Next storm will only impact at least the Northwest immediately, but by the middle and latter part of the week we'll have a pattern change, and that may bring some rain as far south as the Bay Area. But the rain tomorrow again, it will be moving out of New Mexico into the Texas Hill Country. Maybe a storm in the Front Range, otherwise a typical day in Southern California with temperatures in the 70s at the beaches and the 80s in the valleys, like out there in the beautiful San Fernando Valley. Dave?
Well, Mike, there are a few places where we are seeing some rain this Sunday, and as some of you have seen too much of it over the past few days. One spot, Westchester County, New York, you're still trying to dry out. It's been 2 weeks since a coastal storm slammed the East Coast and dumped plenty of rain in the region, and there have been storms since then. Boy, what a mess, the insurance adjusters. Today, a sprinkle or two, that would just about be it. A cloud bank over upstate New York and New England, but there are peaks of sunshine here in Westchester County, north of New York City. And it looks like we're mostly sunny right now in New York. Temperature right around the 60-degree mark. As long as that sun is out, it is very pleasant out here. Beautiful day today in Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, down to Richmond and Washington, D.C. at 72 degrees. Well, there are changes coming up, obviously, from what it's like out there, and we'll get to that in your local on the 8s. That's coming up right after this.